On March 21st, 1937, a parade was scheduled in Ponce to honor the cadets of the Republic, as well as to protest Albizu Campos's imprisonment. The Nationalists made sure to obtain permits for the event, and hundreds of families arrived to support their loved ones. It was Palm Sunday, so many of the cadets and onlookers carried palm leaves on their shoulders. 80 cadets were cheered on, as they marched to the tune of a 5-piece band. All at once, the mayor of Ponce arrived alongside the insular police captain. Behind them were 200 heavily armed police officers. The mayor was now claiming that parade permits had been rescinded at the last minute by order of Governor Winship. The officers of the cadets and the mayor argued for a few minutes before Lopez de Victoria became fed up. He called on the band to play the Puerto Rican national anthem, La Borinqueña. Then, a shot rang out, striking Ivan Rodriguez Figueras. Nelson A. Denis says he, quote, crumpled like a rag doll, blood spurting from his throat with each dying heartbeat, unquote. Juan Torres Gregory was watching the parade from his window when a shot from police killed him. A third shot hit Abdulio Rosario, who fell to the floor bewildered and died. The police had created the perfect kill zone for the Puerto Rican nationalists, so even when panic took the crowd, there was little room to run away. A boy on a bicycle was mowed down. A father was shot in the back defending his dying son. An orange vendor who was hiding behind a statue of Jesus was hunted down and executed. An old man was practically ripped in two by Thompson submachine gun fire. The flag bearer was immediately felled, as was the next brave soul who attempted to carry the nationalist flag to safety. Eventually, a young boy managed to retrieve the flag. The police kept shooting. They shot a young girl who was seeking shelter in a church. They shot another man who was a National Guardsman who was on his way home. They clubbed a 53-year-old woman's head so hard that the gray matter of her brain spilled out onto the floor and caused several people to slip and fall. At this point, many guns were overheating, but this did not stop the police from firing into corpses and shooting several people begging for their life. Bolivar Marquez Telechia was struck at some point during the massacre. Before dying, he wrote in his own blood, quote, "Long live the Republic. Down with the murderers," unquote. By the time the firing had stopped, 19 people were dead. 2 of them were police officers killed in their own crossfire. 200 other Puerto Ricans were severely wounded, writhing in agony on the ground. It is, to this day, the worst massacre committed against civilians by police in American history. The 2 dead policemen were a godsend to the Puerto Rican Chief of Police, Enrique de Orbeta. He set about covering up the massacre. He grabbed the journalist on hand and forced him to take quote-unquote real-time photos of the police scanning the rooftop for quote-unquote snipers. Now, Puerto Rico's police could claim they were defending themselves. Unfortunately for the PRPD, there was a filmmaker in the top room of a nearby hotel who had a bird's-eye view of the entire massacre. His damning film confirms there was no snipers, and the Ponce Massacre was simply a cold-blooded execution of nationalists and their supporters by the police. Beyond the video evidence, the ACLU arrived on the island and after an intensive investigation declared that what occurred in Ponce was indeed a massacre. Instead of quelling insurrection in Puerto Rico, all the Ponce Massacre did was inflame the population further. 20,000 Puerto Ricans marched alongside the caskets of those killed. Authorities quickly went about falsifying witness testimony and threatening the family members of those shot. The district attorney resigned from his position rather than bring charges against people for, quote, killing themselves, unquote. A loyal lackey was quickly placed in his position. Those suffering mental and physical ailments following the massacre were arrested at the hospital. Fortunately, none of these charges would stick.